Great, man. It's my first. It's my first.
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's nuts. Yesterday, while I still have a relative amount of anonymity, so I strolled around, took in all the sights and sounds, and did some zombie things. It was great.
Next year you'll need the Spider-Man mask. That's next
All
year.
good.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think it's kind of fun to be able to walk around in like
A costume.
because that way you actually get a lot of freedom, and then you just get to be like all the rest of us, just mash through everybody.
Yeah, I know. I should have. I wore Battlestar Galactica shirt, and I feel like there weren't a lot, so I was like standing out a little bit, so I was a little like, but I was fine.
Okay, now I totally feel like I saw you somewhere on the floor.
I had a shirt that said "frack off" on it.
Yeah.
It's black. Did you see me?
Probably. Well, it's a BSG shirt, so yeah.
So, I mean, it's an interesting position to be in such a high-profile show.
Yeah.
With a lot of eyes on you. So, talk a little bit about kind of what your experience with the fan reaction for the initial pilot.
I mean, just from what I've seen online and sort of seen being here is really all I've had so far in terms of fan reaction. But people are going crazy about it, and they're really excited. And you know, some people are a little surprised at how much they're excited about it. But great, that still means they're excited. And I don't know, it's been like a real rush of love towards the show, which is always a good place to start, because you never know. Some people can start with a lot of skepticism, and we've gotten a lot of not of the opposite of that. So it's nice. Now we gotta live up to it, but we will.
What's the most relatable thing about your character for you? Like, what was the thing about the role that made you decide this is the show you want to go?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did a lot of pilot season stuff this year, and this was the one role that I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, it was, you audition for all these roles, and you kind of have to like mold yourself to fit each character, but this one was like was kind of perfect from day one. And what I love about him is he's kind of like the nerd's way in, you know. He's like the everyman kind of, the viewers sort of, oh, I can relate to that guy because he's the guy that loves superheroes and he loves the, you know, comics and conspiracy theory, alien stuff. And but he also feels like an outsider, you know, because he doesn't have superpowers. Just spoil it right there. No superpowers for me. But he's very smart. We'll say that. He's very smart, and he's got a lot of other talents.
In kind of relation to that question, because obviously you were running around in a BSG shirt, so I'm guessing you are a nerd.
Totally, but I feel completely insufficient here. I mean, I walked the floor, I was like, I don't know what any of this is. Like, half of this stuff, I was like, what is this? I was like, man, I gotta brush up on my nerddom.
Yeah, but I noticed that a lot of the time...
I'm a big TV nerd.
Yeah, when there's a nerdy guy on a show, sometimes it's a stereotype versus, you know, like a real person. So is that, you feel like because you have that kind of nerd in yourself...
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that we really play him as a nerd. We play him as a very excitable young man who is just has a lot of things going through his head, and he has his own sort of insecurities as well that he has to sort of deal with. And, you know, you kind of compensate those in different ways. And I think that's a lot of what sort of defines the average nerd, is sort of trying to find who you are amidst a world of normal people.
What do you, it's so exciting for us to have a female superhero show.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
What do you hope that young women sort of take away from Supergirl?
I think that they take away, you know, and find their own sort of strength within, because we see both sides of her, and we see this sort of young, vulnerable, I'm still just figuring out who I am as a person, and then we see this secret side that nobody else knew about, but is that really her? Like, who is the real person? I think it'll have people really be strong enough to start figuring out who they really are, and be okay and be strong about it. And one of the things that I like about my character is that he really likes her for who she is before she even knows that she's Supergirl. And I think that's really important for people to know that you don't have to have superpowers in order to be great and to be loved.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how your character's relationship evolves once he finds out a little more about Kara?
Well, I mean, I don't know much more than you guys. You know, he finds out in the pilot who she is. She tells him, and he freaks out. And I mean, what I can probably say is that he sort of helps her discover her superhero persona. You know, he knows all about superheroes and what they should all be doing and how, and that, you know, they should be fighting crime, and he helps create her costume for her, and I think we'll start to see more of their, as he says, super best friends at lunch hours. So
Nice.
yeah.
Do you know much about who you're loosely based on in the comics?
You know, I've heard rumors. I will say that from what I know of that character, I've not many similarities at this point. So we're creating like true origin stories and unique original origin stories for all of these characters, including Supergirl, and you know, and including Winn as well. So I'll be interested to see where he goes and if he takes a path that people may expect or if he takes an unexpected path. I don't know.
Would you want to kind of go dark side?
I think it would be cool. I would think it would be cool to explore that side because, you know, he's this young, youthful, excitable, really happy, energetic guy, and you have to go through a lot of stuff to get to that place of darkness. So I would be really interested in having those experiences and getting to portray that kind of energy. So we'll see.